Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Patek Philippe reference 5109J Gondolo. This is really a veteran from the big watch wars of the mid-2000s. Not a big watch in its own right, rather this was one of the traditionalist styles holding the line against the onslaught of the oversized. Now, the 5109 debuted right into the frying pan. In 2003, this watch bowed at Baselworld, and 43 millimeters lug to lug, 30 millimeters wide. It's the perfect size for a rectangular watch, but in an era when even dress watches were stretching to 45 millimeters and beyond before you count the lugs, this watch seemed something like an anachronism. Today, it's considered almost ideal. Now, I'll show you the way this watch fits on my wrist, and the fit is sublime. If it's an anachronism, it's a beautiful anachronism, because the Gondolo line, debuting in 1993, was Patek Philippe's homage to the Art Deco era. While its Calatrava emerged from that era, it wasn't really of that era. The Calatrava was a forward-thinking round watch with tapered lugs. The Art Deco era was about rectilinear styles, intersection, perpendicular lines, 90-degree angles, strong and strident straight lines. If you can think of the 1925 Exposition des Arts Décoratifs that inspired the Art Deco period, weren't a whole lot of curves in there. Think New York City skyscrapers stretching upward, rectangular, towards the sky in straight, strong geometries. That's Art Deco. So fittingly, for the Patek Philippe 5109J, Patek Philippe employs a heritage-inspired faceted rectangular case. Now you can see that the facets of the case on my wrist really show through from this angle. It's not a simple rectangle. It does have sheer sides, and being only 6.2 millimeters thick, it sits exquisitely low on the wrist. My wrist is 6 1/3 inches in circumference, so roughly 16 centimeters in circumference for those of you using the metric system. But the watch would easily fit on a smaller wrist. While it is 43 millimeters lug to lug, remember, that measurement is lug to lug, from extremity to extremity. It's not the span of the actual case around the dial. And that's important, because it means the watch wears roughly like a conventional, I would say 38 millimeter round watch. Its span from side to side is 30 millimeters, so the proportions are perfect. Moreover, it comes on a very supple, comfortable, unbolstered Patek Philippe alligator leather strap, and you can see on the bottom side it features a contrasting stitch with calfskin leather, so very supple on the skin but very durable on the top. And the combination of the 18-karat yellow gold, which I have to note you don't see too often anymore in the luxury watch sector. There's a lot of colored gold in the rose, pink, red gold field, but not so much of the yellow variety. White gold, platinum, steel, those are the metals of the moment. But if you want a truly beautiful classical yellow gold watch, you can be hard up and your choices are kind of few and far between. So this Patek Philippe 5109J in yellow gold offers an outstanding late model watch that uses that yellow gold to outstanding effect, and delicately, because one of the aesthetic triumphs of this watch is the ratio of bezel to dial. Now, the watch is inspired by the watches of the 30s and the 40s, built by the Gondolo and Labourier importer in Brazil. The Chronometro Gondolo was their signature model, and this watch is inspired by that line of non-round watches. Very contemporary, though. I would say the dominant theme here is delicacy. The combination of the Breguet numerals, the spade hour hand, the modified Foy minutes hand, the blue oxidized Foy sub-seconds hand at 6 o'clock, the gentle and subtle cropping of that Arabic numeral 6 at 6 o'clock, and the subtle sunken subdial for the small seconds. It is guilloché cut into the dial itself and on a different plane than the rest of this metallic silver dial. Again, the strong rectilinear geometries of the modified train track around the outer circumference of the applied yellow gold Arabic numerals. Everything about this watch is delicate. Being as thin as it is, again, less than 6.5 millimeters, the watch wears as comfortably as its looks imply. Very comfortable on my wrist, and that's because of the perfectly flat case back. Beautiful brushed gold. The finish is chaste, traditional, No nonsense, bordering on austere, but what's within is a true gem. This watch is powered by a Geneva seal finished Patek Philippe caliber 215. Like the watch itself, a bit of a vintage throwback originating in the early 70s. It's traditional watchmaking in the best of the Patek Philippe craft tradition. Geneva seal, so every edge features mirror finish anglage. Every bridge features Côte de Genève. The base plate features a tight and regular perlage pattern. Every screw head is polished and its slot is chamfered. And again, Geneva seal means that you go above and beyond with finish. So even underneath the screw, if you were to take it out of its slot and look at the pilot underneath the threading where it's cut off, even that portion of the screw would be polished to a mirror finish. That's why Geneva seal screws cost $20 a pop if you have to replace them. So the caliber 215 inside this watch, although you can't see it, exceptionally flat, exquisitely finished. It was the first Patek Philippe 4 Hz, that is 28,800 vibration per hour caliber, to use the Gyromax free-sprung escapement system that ensures precision regulation and resistance to shock-induced imprecision and timing error. So not only is this watch beautiful, but it's beautifully engineered inside. Now you can see that this watch is really the quintessential modern Patek Philippe Gondolo dress references. This is no sports watch. With 3 ATM water resistance, you're going to want to put this one aside and strap on a Nautilus if you plan to get wet. But for every other occasion, the watch's proportions, the outstanding ratio of silver dial to yellow gold bezel, the fact that it wears so flush and fits so easily under a cuff, means that whether you're wearing this watch casually in the club or in the boardroom, it's the perfect watch for almost any occasion. Again, short of rough play, this is the universal soldier. Whatever battle you're fighting, the Patek Philippe Gondolo 5109J is the perfect companion to bring into that foxhole. This is a gorgeous watch, and like I said, it really defied the trends of the 2000s. Having been built from 2003 to 2007, it was a short-lived but beautiful period in Patek Philippe's history. And I'm convinced that if you check out this Patek Philippe Gondolo, reference 5109J, on our website, it will in fact be the non-round watch you want.